Hey you guys, today I wanted to do a video on diet following dental implant surgery. A lot of people panic at this part of the process because they're told by their providers that they will be on a soft diet for 4 to 6 months roughly following their dental implant surgery. And I've seen in a lot of dental implant groups people making comments about how hungry they are and they need meal ideas, and they're starving because they've been living on all the wrong foods for a little too long. So I wanted to go over some foods that you can have post-op. I have a list here of foods that I ate following my dental implant surgery. But I do want to real quickly touch on the 3 main rules to follow following your post-op surgery care. And those are: if it has to require your teeth at all to chew it up, you cannot have it. I know I had teeth in a day. Like when I left the day of surgery, my temps were put in before I ever left the office. So just because you have teeth in a day and you leave the office that day with teeth, you should not put force on those brand new implants because they need to osteointegrate. So the number 1 rule of thumb is if you cannot eat it without your teeth, you cannot have it. As far as things you can have, if it can be smashed up with your tongue and swallowed, or if it can be swallowed whole or as is, you can have it. But we'll go over that again before the video's over. But like some examples of this are like soft diet foods generally are noodles. So the thing with noodles is you just have to make sure they are cooked thoroughly and they are soft and they can break apart easily. I know some people like their noodles al dente, but if you're going to have this done, you cannot chew it all. So the main rule of thumb with noodles is you just have to make sure that you can smash it between the roof of your mouth and your tongue and break it up to swallow it, or be able to swallow it whole. So some examples of this would be mac and cheese, butter noodles with salt. Again, that was just something my grandma used to make. So egg noodles, cook them up real soft, mix butter with them, melt the butter around, and then add salt and pepper. Ramen noodles, cook it for 3 minutes on the stove. My recommendation is that once the 3 minutes is up, just turn the burner off and let the pot sit on the hot burner for another 5 to 10 minutes. That softens the noodles up a little bit more and it allows them to absorb the flavor. SpaghettiOs, mini raviolis, beef raviolis, those are okay to have because those can be smashed with your tongue or swallowed as is. The mini beef raviolis I would generally cut up a little bit and then swallow them as was or smash them up. Microwave rice-a-roni. Rice in general is okay to have. I know I'm horrible at cooking it on the stove though, so if you cook it on the stove and it's a little al dente, just swallow it whole. Rice is very small. The particles of rice are already small enough that they can be swallowed as is. I do like the microwave rice-a-roni though, because if you follow the cooking instructions to a T, they're generally cooked thoroughly enough that they can be smashed up if need be. Soups are great to have. You just can't have crunchy crackers in them. I'm one of those people, when I put crackers in my soups, I don't mind letting them get soggy before eating. So if you want to add a little bit of substance to your soup so it's not like a liquid diet type food, you can add crackers. You just have to let them soften up real good before you eat them. But soups are good to have. I ate chicken noodle soup. Chili was one of my favorites because there was meat in it, so a little bit of protein. And as long as the ingredients in the soups you're eating can be smashed with your tongue, like in chili, I would smash the beans with my tongue, then it's okay to have. Potato soup, as long as you can smash the chunks of potato up with your tongue against the roof of your mouth and swallow it, you're fine. If you make homemade potato soup, just make sure you cook your potatoes thoroughly so they do fall apart easily. Let's see, whenever noodles, whenever soups. Some of my favorite things to have as far as a sweet treat were like canned peaches. Half the time when you go to stab a peach with a fork and pull it out of a can, it's already falling apart. I did do mandarin oranges mixed with orange jello. 2 or 3 cans of mandarin oranges, drain the juice out, dump them in once you've mixed up your jello mixture, and then just stick them in the fridge. It's a real soft treat. It's sweet. It helps curb that sweet tooth craving you might have. Mashed potatoes obviously are great to have. They can be swallowed as is. Smoothies are okay to have. You're just not allowed for the first couple weeks after implant surgery to suck through a straw. So as far as smoothies go, use a spoon. If you're one of them people that absolutely have to have a straw, then you might have to hold off on the smoothies for a couple weeks until your stitches, dissolve and everything in the gum line itself is healed. Ice cream's wonderful. Anything cold like that I do recommend because it does help with swelling. It helps with pain in your gums while you're healing. It just makes things a little bit easier. One thing that I did like to eat, I probably didn't start eating it until about week 4, is hot turkey sandwiches, but those come with a few stipulations. First of all, I know some restaurants or some people prefer to make hot turkey sandwiches with the chunks of turkey. That is a no-no. You cannot do the chunks of turkey because those do require a good bit of chewing. The restaurant up the road for me makes them with deli sliced turkey meat. That is okay to have because deli sliced turkey meat falls apart really easily. So a hot turkey sandwich is okay to have. Just make sure you're using the deli sliced turkey so you don't have to chew it all. You can pretty much break that kind of meat up with your tongue. And make sure it's smothered in gravy. The bread's smothered in gravy. The bread will fall right apart because, the gravy will make it soggy. The only thing I wouldn't eat on my hot turkey sandwiches was the bread crust. Even though it was soaked in gravy, a lot of times the crust wouldn't soften up enough to fall apart. So I would just break it off with my fork and set it aside. But hot turkey sandwiches are great. They're a great source of protein. They're a comfort food. They are a good substance food to have. They fill you up. You're not going to feel hungry right away after eating it like you will with some of the other foods like the soups. But yeah, I highly recommend hot turkey sandwiches. Hamburger Helper, like I said before, it's a good one only because of the diversity in the flavor. You cook your noodles up real good. You get your meat smashed up nice and fine. That way you can swallow it. But you can get so many different flavors of Hamburger Helper. Like they have the tomato basil flavor. They have the stroganoff, the beef pasta, the mac and cheese. The Hamburger Helper is good for getting you that protein you need, but it's also a food you won't get sick of because they have so many different flavors of it that, you could eat Hamburger Helper every day for a week, but as long as you ate a different form of it, you generally will be okay living on Hamburger Helper. But yeah, I think we've pretty much touched on all the foods I've eaten. I'm sure there's other things you can have. The biggest things with the soft diet is just make sure you're getting a good bit of protein, because again, without protein, you will start to feel fatigued and weaker. It's best to supplement with a protein shake if you can't get protein any other way. Fish sticks, microwavable fish sticks are good for the protein. Hamburger Helper, hot turkey sandwiches, and those are foods that kind of help keep you full. You're not going to be starving or, hungry within an hour after eating. But again, the main rules you want to follow, like I said, this was just a lot of the foods that I lived on post-surgery. There are thousands of recipes out there for other types of foods that you could, eat. The best thing you can do is just when you're sitting down at a restaurant or when you're preparing to make dinner that night, ask yourself those 3 things. Does this require me to use my teeth to chew it? If not, can I break it up with my tongue? Or can I swallow it whole or as is? If you can swallow it whole or if you can break it up with your tongue, it is fine to have. But if it requires any amount of biting on your new teeth, don't. The best thing you can do is just say no to foods like that. I know it's hard. Like I said, my pasta salad, there were just ingredients in it I couldn't have. So I would eat everything but like the bell pepper or the cheese. It's just a matter of being picky like that to ensure that you're not going to damage your implants immediately after surgery. Now, once you get a few weeks out, like I said, the soft diet's supposed to be 4 to 6 months. Once you get to about the 4-month mark, you can slowly start chewing little bits of things here and there, and work your way up until you're okayed by your doctor to go ahead and eat whatever you want. But just be very cautious. And like I said, the best thing you could do is just follow those 3 rules when you're thinking about what you want to eat for dinner. But I hope this helped you guys. I hope this gave you some ideas. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'll gladly answer them. And yeah, I hope this kind of gave you some info.